Hit that record button.
No, I think the car ran it over. Oh!
It's the car, man.
It's the car.
Yeah.
Car. Okay, stop the record. We're gonna go through the history first before we spread out. You're definitely going to let me know anything above 2.5, and we're going to escalate it. So that way I don't have a whole notebook of numbers. So if you get 2.5, then 3.5, don't go give me another 2.5. We're going to keep it going up.
Okay.
Average spike for this location is 18 to 22.
Ooh, okay.
So that's been about the average of what we find. We did get a 42 or 47 here last night, so that was pretty exciting. We're going to talk more about EMF before we leave. So what is this place? First off, I'm not going to be giving you any questions like what color is George Washington's white horse on purpose. So that way you're not going to know what to listen for entirely. I want you to have a genuine experience. So anything silly that you think like that's weird, I want to know what the silliness is, just like the bedroom thing you heard back there. So, but this place used to be the Eliza and Charles
Just had a
Pinckney.
6'5".
Eliza and Charles Pinckney Mansion. It actually sat in the front of this space where the cars were parked. Eliza's garden was lined up with Five Church Restaurant and came all the way across. And we are standing in the servant and slave quarters for the home. So anything else other than the
13.2.
Nice. Anything coming out of yours?
Nope.
Ooh, 27.9.
I like just did.
Wow.
I'm stuck at a point.
Yeah, so move it again. And play around with it. Move it around to different ones. I mean, you know what readings that she's getting because she's going to be shouting them out. So, who the heck were Eliza and Charles Pinckney? Yeah, we're not spreading out yet. We've got to get some history. So, Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. So, that's 3 different Charleses. That's why we look for secondary clues so we know who the heck we're talking to. So, the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. That's a big deal for us, but I hate politics. If I don't bring it up, they'll normally bring it up through a spirit box very angrily. So I've seen it and heard it in the past. So we're going to talk about Eliza instead. Her history is way more interesting. She married Charles at a young age, according to today's standards. I say today's standards because if you're going to ask her how old she was, don't expect numbers like 12 and 14, like the colonial times that she came from. Think of today's standards. Her husband, the reason why I bring all this up, was over double her age. So definitely a creepy age gap between the two of them, even in today's standards. She married him because her father was over in England. He thought he was dying. He's trying to get all of his kids home so he can see him one last time. Eliza didn't believe he was dying, so she stayed put and got married. It's 1744. You don't get married in that year to get a green card. We're not even a country yet. So she married him out of love. There's no foul play. Don't poke the bear. But she was right. Dad did not die right away. Instead, he started sending her gifts from England to the space we're standing in. One of the gifts happened to be the plant seeds of indigo. If you guys have been here for at least a day driving around, you've seen the word indigo somewhere. I guarantee it. So indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. None of us are wearing it tonight. Look at that. I don't have one simple example. But when she got the seeds, she didn't know what to do with them. She had to learn from her slaves how to keep it going and how to make the dye. When she figured it out, she moved it to a cash crop, got a hold of her dad and said, our rice plantations are going downhill, but we can make a killing with the indigo. And we now have an international businesswoman during colonial times. This is something absolutely unheard of. That's the boring business shit about Eliza. Let's get into the weird stuff, because that's why you guys are here. So I'm basically going to give you, you're really the only person here that's going to get a set of questions, but we do have audio being recorded on those other pieces, so if anybody else wants to out loud ask questions, again, they can come up anywhere. My audio, the 2 audio from the 2 cameras, or we have this spirit box that Jacob's listening to, or my word list that's being generated. So again, we have lots of communication. You just might not see it in real time. So the questions, I want you to go straight to her death. You can ask anything you want to about her death. How old she was, what she died from, where she's buried, what president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So again, these are very specific questions. If you're other curiosities that you might have, the only thing I'm going to ask is that you stay away from asking about her children. If you want to ask what their names were, don't ask anything else. We're going to keep it nice and simple. That's where things start to get a little hairy for us. The little bit of spikes you're getting, they will go away, and we'll start getting angry messages coming through on his end. This is a prominent English woman. This is a place of respect. But if you want to ask about what happened to the mansion because it's not here anymore, ask what happened. Hopefully we get the answer. Jacob hopefully will hear it in real time. If you're curious even further, ask when that tragedy occurred. It's a very specific date, and we've gotten it in the past. Normally, if we can get what the actual tragedy was, we'll get 2 out of 3 numbers from the date. So that would be the month, the day, or the year, 2 or 3 of those numbers. It does occur quite often. So, have you heard anything specifically? What have you heard?
28, maybe.
Well, it's usually your first instinct. So, It's okay to like, it was 20 something.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm gonna write down 28 because that was the first thing that kind of popped in your head, what you thought you heard. The cool thing is, you're recording everything, so I'm gonna be able to verify that in the morning, if it's actually there in my spot check. Any numbers that I need to know about coming out of?
I had a 29.4.
Holy cow. So we're gonna escalate it above
Big
25 at this
numbers.
point. So don't tell me anything below 25. We've already kind of gotten up to our good spot. Again, average spike is between 18 and 22. We're already past that. So let's really kind of see what else we have going on here. But we are going to spread out. I am going to keep you behind so that way I can show you how to use that motion sensor. This is one of the spaces where we're going to use it. But nice slow movements out of the cameras. The slower you are, the easier it is to be able to capture something. So this is not a, you're going to walk around like Blair Witch Project, right? So the slower you move, the better. Again, what I found, especially with the big camera, especially when we're walking, I'm like going like this, and I'm like, oh my God, the woman kept the recording on, and I'm trying to find a ghost because she had it swinging, kind of thing. So kind of keep in mind nice slow movements. But again, keep your everything recording, and we're gonna, see what we come up with, and we're gonna regroup back here, and I'll give you all of the answers to the things that you guys were curious about, and kind of see what's actually coming out of it. So Maggie, I'm gonna keep you behind. Everybody else, spread out. London, kind of keep close. I want to make sure you guys are matching up. So if she starts getting a spike, start turning your dial to find out where kind of measurement it's actually getting. Okay. Very interesting. So again, I'm trying to figure out like how is this measuring, because this is giving me every option possible. So this is me learning about, like, I've been using this guy for 2 years. Like, how is it working? So now that we've gotten some crazy numbers out of it, which is cool. Look. Let me do it against a little tricky. Turn the device around so we can see the back of it. There's a little flat back there. You're going to lift it up this way. And there's 2 white buttons underneath there. You need the one closer to the edge. Yep. Push it handy so they're very small. I don't know how you guys both read that when they're dark. Like, you guys all tell me in terms of, there we go. Okay. Now, every time you go over the time, so you just disrupt the reset it. Right here. Perfect. There's 3 buttons. One button every time it goes on. It's going to go. Okay. So every time you get it.
Did the tragedy happen?
What's her name again?
London.
No, the English lady who had the Indigo company. Elizabeth, is that you? Elizabeth, are you standing in front of me or is that a car? Elizabeth, when did you start your Indigo company? That's just, whoa. I think that's just the building. Is that the building? Or is that you? I think that's the building. Unless they're doing a little... Oh, that's Jacob. Okay. Move, Jacob. I think that's just the building. If not, hi. Bye. Hello? Did you like walking around here? Sorry, I can't think of good questions. Hello? I'm gonna look at that building over there again and see if that's you. Hello?
So keep in mind, even Dad over there is asking questions, even though you can't hear an answer. So whatever silly thing you think you're hearing, it's great that you're looking for an answer for your specific question.
That's just the building.
Grab whatever she wants to. That's
Oh. Well, that's just the garbage can. Whoa, that was not the garbage can.
Alright, so I think with yours, we want to turn the sensitivity down a little bit. I'm going to check this rhythms real quick. Yeah, I got nothing. So you were probably picking up, just tell me if I have like more than one skeleton. Do I look like I have more than one skeleton?
No, but my dad had like 3.
Yeah, so we want to probably turn down the sensitivity a little bit. So let's see if we
Okay.
can figure this out. So again, you're teaching me stuff at this point. So I want
There you go.
to make sure we're on that green. Perfect.
Okay, now I need to go look at Dad.
Yeah, see how he's doing with that.
Okay, there's Jacob.
He's picking up that sign over there.
Yeah, it's been picking up the sign.
Still looks like it's pretty sensitive, but much better as you get closer. That's better.
Yeah.
That's way better. Cool.
Okay.
I heard some more things. It was like garbage, get help, and something about help.
Oh, I said I was like, it picked up the garbage can.
And then something about a Bible.
Yeah, you're in the Bible Belt, so you're going to get a lot of religious terms throughout the evening.
I did say something about garbage though.
It said garbage.
Hello? Were you talking to Jacob about the garbage? I think that's just the car. If not, hi. It's Jacob.
Round robin. Kind of see how things are going. Any other numbers? Is that on?
That's like the
Whoa. Nah, it's just the car. My bad. I want to trip, bro. My arms hurt. Whoa. Hello. Are you just the sign? There's two people partying. No, you're just the sign. I think that's just the sign. If not, hi. I'll come back later.
We got the sensitivity turned down on Madeline's camera, so it looks fantastic at this point. So
Hello, sign. Come back. Yeah, it's just a sign. Person.
trying to go over the answers.
Person. Wave. Okay. Okay.
Pretty sensitive. And like I said, if you just want to kind of handle like little suitcase, keep readings in here, anything above a 5, because we have lamppost near us. So again, just keep cognizant of the other group. Have you heard anything along the way?
Maybe a name, Meredith. Nothing really sensitive.
So you're going to get better at this as we kind of
Yeah.
move along, just so you know. It's not
A lot
an
of
easy-
random noises.
And keep in mind, like, that's the first thing I listen to in the morning. Like, I grab my cup of coffee, and that's what I'm listening to. So, yeah. So Meredith, interesting. I don't know who the hell that is, but hopefully I'll find out.
Sounds like a name from that time, so.
It could be, I mean, that's an old name. So, this is Philadelphia Alley. We're not going to be able to spread out in here like what we did at the Pinckney Mansion. We're basically here to kind of stir things up. We're going to let this group pass through when they do fall, and then we'll kind of get started. So, any numbers at all?
So did you guys really meet over here today?
Yeah.
That's cool.
We really did.
That's cool.
And then we've like been hanging out all day.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Really tough. They're introducing related mag. Here it's 32. Just yet, because then it's coming from that. That's a man-made object. Go down to my actual spot. Let's go down a little bit further. I like going by the gate. Walk it off.
Like the standard one is on a 3.3.
Okay.
Regular. Like the RF is the only one that's ever changing.
This here just gives us a much better view of it, and not to mention the gate is significant to the location. But this used to be called Dueler's Alley. This is where some of the duels used to occur. Again, we're not going to spread out in here. First off, we're only allowed to go halfway. It's not fair to the other tours that we're trying to investigate. But we're just here to stir things up for when we're at our next space. Hopefully we're going to get a lot of clues through the spirit boxes from this location, which is often what happens. So we all tell the same story with the ghost hunting. This isn't a normal campfire marshmallow kind of ghost story. So let's kind of get into the details. There was a duel that occurred, but we needed to find out how it happened first. So there was a doctor that moves down here from Rhode Island. He moves down here because he's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. So with yours, Madeline, you're going to have a lot of trees and things like
Yeah.
that. Just be mindful of
Yeah.
that. You know, don't get too excited if you see somebody hanging from the tree.
Be pretty cool if it was.
I know. Granted, we would have to get some kind of confirmation of that, you know, that it was a real deal. I would be more interested if you've seen somebody laying on the ground, because this is where duels occurred. That would be my interest. But anyway, back to Doctor. He moves down. His name is Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. So if you hear Brown-Eyed Girl, it's not a coincidence, just so you know. We have part of his name. But Amanda, his fiancée, just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. She has an attorney helping her out with all of the cash. The attorney thinks that Dr. Ladd is just after Amanda's money, so he tells Amanda, get rid of the doctor. So Dr. Ladd comes to Charleston to prove he's not after her money, and the coachman that brought him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. His name was Ralph. Well, no, his name wasn't Ralph. But somebody was walking by. He was about to see what was about to go down because he knew the coachman. His name was Ralph Isaacs. I'm going to stop on Ralph because he has the same initials as where the doctor came from. I actually have a Ouija board device that they just invented last year in my bag. The reason why I bought it was for this location. We were getting the letters RI all the time because Ralph has the same initials as where the doctor is from, Rhode Island. So again, we were getting it on spirit boxes. I just had one 2 weeks ago. DJ said all I caught was RI. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, these are weird things. I expected it on the Ouija board, not coming from there. But anyway, Ralph tells the doctor, dude, you don't want to stay here. I know this guy. He's going to try to kill you. Why don't you come with me? I got some friends at 59 Church Street. You can stay there, rent a room, you'll be safe. The doctor took him up on the offer. They became friends. The longer the doctor stays here in Charleston, the more money he's making. He's proving his point. He wasn't just after Amanda's money. So, Amanda gets wind of this and she's moving down. So they're going to get married soon, and Dr. Ladd became known as the Whistling Doctor. Every haunted city you'll ever visit has a cliched whistling ghost. I'm just going to put it out there. We all have one. We actually have proof of this one, and I'm going to get to that. Dr. Ladd and Ralph go see plays together. They can't sit next to each other because the doctor makes more money. He gets better seats. That's just the hierarchy of the way things worked back then. They talk about the plays on the way home. They went to go see Richard III one night. They're arguing over the new actress. Ralph didn't think she was so great, but the doctor did. So the argument gets really heated when Ralph is insulting the doctor's fiance Amanda back home in Rhode Island. They go their separate ways. Ralph puts an ad in the newspaper telling the whole city of Charleston what he thinks of the doctor. Kind of a, you're a disgrace to society kind of mentality. The doctor saw the ad, rebutted with, let's go to Dooller's Alley. We're going to settle this. So they came down, they took 10 paces away from each other, they turned. The doctor pointed his flintlock into the air and shot his one bullet. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to have the courage and bravery to show up to the fight, which is often what happened at a duel. Ralph, however, had one bullet and he put it in the kneecap on the doctor. Yeah, kind of nasty. The doctor drops to the ground, doesn't die. His friends picked him up, carried him home to 59 Church Street, where he died 10 days later, on November 2nd, 1786. So, got a cord coming through, just be mindful. It's probably going to come up this way. But at any rate, so every ghost tour that comes down here will tell you to listen for the whistles when you're down here. If you hear how quiet it is now, it's even like this on a busy Saturday afternoon.
Any special flavors or just the standards?
So it is always a...
Who's up
there?
Excuse us, guys.
Oh, you're good, you're good. How are you, man?
Good, how are you?
Careful, we got a heckler just top of the alley up there.
Okay.
We're allowed to go to 20 feet. This is why I like to only go to 10.
Oh, you still want to waive it?
You mentioned the bags are 35 pounds, and we need it to be 70. It's heavy enough. Take pictures of this. I can feel the So we make fun every time we're here. We kind of make fun of that.
We feel the order.
Feel the orbs. But anyway, so you're using my voice recorder right now, so obviously you're going to be listening for voices or any kind of whistles in the background. But the eerie thing about this is we've had the word whistle show up on spirit boxes in the past, and we've heard just whistling parts of songs while we've been in here as well, along with other clues relative to the doctor, because he was known as the Whistling Doctor. So if you're going to try this on your own, and you're going to be spending another day and you want to walk through here, by the way, this is probably the most picturesque place we have, so if you're a picture taker, it's like this day or night. It's just gorgeous. But turn on your voice recorders, listen to the recording later, see if you get any voices. But what I will tell you is that every local knows the story, just like our heckler at the top. They throw whistles down the alley. So London and I, we race because we have to pass the alley every night, to get back to the car. You guys passed up my garage. So again, we always throw a whistle down here, especially since I got kicked out of here. Yes, I said kicked out. So that's the fun part of the story. Madeline's like, yeah, I can't wait for this. So, quick history. The alley didn't go all the way through this way. It was blocked off. This is where they kept the livestock. It was called Cow Alley at the time. This was before Dooller's Alley, which means the bricks on that side of the alley are sun-dried bricks from slave children because they're older than the bricks we're standing on now. So, the slave sun-dried bricks down there, there's a full handprint from a slave child down there. And I always pointed it out because we all need to see how far we've come from slavery, right? And there's 3 locations around Charleston that has a handprint. However, everybody wants to try to get a reading out of that handprint. I treat that handprint the same way I do a grave.
Oh my gosh.
Squirrel.
I think I was just a little chipmunk.
Ghost chipmunks.
Coming for you,
Well, I
man.
seen a mouse go by earlier, and I was hoping, Madeline didn't see it because he kind of scurried real fast.
No, I saw he went up there.
Yeah, you would be able to see him on there. You probably had just a little ball going across. But at any rate, so my entire group on November 26th of 2020 is huddled around that brick with the handprint in it, waiting for something to happen. Again, that kid's not staring at that brick in the afterlife. That's
Yeah.
the worst you're gonna find
Yeah.
out. So I'm trying to hurry them along because of that, and the fact that it's outside the kitchen window of the beautiful mansion at the end of the alley. I was out of bounds and didn't know it. I was just trying to be respectful by, hurry up guys, we gotta keep going. The new owner of the mansion came out, screaming and yelling. This one thought it was fantastic because I'm getting yelled at by somebody. So we moved on. The next day was Thanksgiving. I don't work on Thanksgiving because I worked in retail management for over 20 years, mainly with Walmart. You can understand why I don't work Thanksgiving ever. So the next day, November 28th, I get a phone call asking me to go down halfway, which is what we're allowed to do, or reroute. I decided my toilet night, I'm going to reroute. I told my group it's not fair for us to be working around 20 to 60 people, so I don't believe in this next story, but we're going to see what happens. I didn't believe in the story because I'm a vampire guy, not a pirate person. The next story is about pirates. I don't have any evidence from it at that time. Before we left, on one of the spirit boxes, somebody heard the name Anne come through. What I did not tell that group is who we are going to be investigating. The famous female pirate Anne Bonny. And I went, damn it. So we get up there, I told a little bit about my pirates that I knew, and somebody else heard the number 300. I didn't know what that meant in real time, which is why I write everything down. I researched it the next day. We were there November 28th of 2020, and Anne Bonny's trial for piracy was November 28th of 1720. We were there on the exact 300th anniversary of her pirate trial. So I went, damn it, now I gotta learn about pirates. So I read more books on pirates than I ever wanted to in my entire life, trying to get,
You play games on pirates.
well, I do that too. So there's nothing wrong with reading and playing. But at any rate, so everything we're going to be discussing at the next location, minimum of 2 resources. Again, trying to piece together, factual data on pirate lore is difficult. So again, it's definitely not a prominent English woman. We'll be able to poke the bear a little bit with some questioning, and it is definitely a weird space. Some things with your devices may occur. Things go weird and wonky with your device for sure, and we've had some definite motion sensing, and I'll show you how to do that with that location specific questions. So we are going to leave this space, and hopefully we're going to get more about the doctor over there. But again, with your recordings, if you want to stop them till we get to the next stop, we don't need to record people farting behind. And then of course we're in a space where we can explore. So that's very cool. But again, after we're done with the history here, this is a hit or miss location. We're either going to have a lot going on or nothing. Anne Bonny is said to be seen all over town. So hopefully she's going to be here in the 15 minutes that we are. That's the hope.
Oh, someone's on the floor.
That's your shadow.
Yeah.
It picks up shadows, just so you know. I don't know how or why it does it, but that's how it does. Still learning about this LiDAR technology. And by the way, I hate Apple products. I'm just going to put that on audio right now. And it
So
took
does he.
everything about me to not do this. Because the only way to get LiDAR is on an Apple iPad. I was like, ugh. So I'm even learning how to operate the iPad because I don't even touch my wife's iPad because it's hers. But anyway.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I'll
She's
go.
obviously Apple all the way, just so everybody knows.
We are an Android family.
Yeah, me and my wife are both Android all the way too, but she has an iPad for school. But anyway, back to why we're here. The little building over there, those are not crosses on that building. Those are earthquake bolts. So like we talked about that earthquake earlier, basically those are turnbuckles. They go all the way through the roof of that building. And if we have another earthquake, like what we did in 1886, which we have not, you can tighten those turnbuckles and it's supposed to stop the building from getting any further damage. It's a great idea, it just doesn't work. The reason why we're here and I bring those up is because those are the first set of earthquake bolts that Charleston ever put in. The reason why is because that's the oldest government building we have in South Carolina. 1713 was when it was finished. We're here because this is what I call a familiar. You guys watch the TV shows, you've seen them use a teddy bear to attract a child ghost. It's the same principle here because Anne was coming to Charleston during the middle of the construction of this building. She recognizes it. She knows what it is. So that's why we're here. Let's get into Anne's history. Right in the middle of its construction is where the story begins. Follow me, there's a lot of twists here. So I will slow down on the twist so everybody gets it. 1708, a young lady named Anne Cormack moves here from Ireland. She comes here with her father and his mistress. The mistress is her mother. Is everybody with me so far? The 3 of them are running away from her father's angry wife. How mad was she, Brandon, to leave Ireland to come here Just pointing that out. Don't make her angry. You'll leave the country. So now, they land in Georgetown. That's just north of here between us and Myrtle Beach. Dad bought a plantation. Mom died pretty quickly. That means Dad is sending young Ann down here to sell things from the plantation to keep things afloat while he maintains the actual plantation. Hence the familiar building. So, let's step backwards a little bit. Anne back in Ireland was kind of a badass. They say at the age of 7, 8, 9 years old, remember this is pirate lore, nothing is exact, that she killed one of her servants with a knife to the belly. We have had the terms servant, knife, and belly all show up in the same evening. Fast forward, the building's complete in 1713. 1715, pirates are coming through town. Anne is stoked. She's about 16, 17 years old at this time, and she wants to fall in love so she can earn her freedom just like a man. That's the way it worked back then. So, first guy she falls in love with, yes, I said first because there's a handful and we're gonna go through them.
Thank you. Sorry.
James Bonny is the first one. You already see where this one's going because you already know her pirate name. So, Dad didn't approve because he's a filthy pirate. They run away to Jamaica. They got married. Anne Cormac is now Anne Bonny. However, when they got there, this guy is not Captain Jack Sparrow like what she was hoping for. This guy turns out to be a privateer. So he's a spy for the British. He's a coward in her eyes. This is not who she wants. A few years later, she falls in love again. This guy is named John Rackham. He goes by Calico Jack. Jack, this is the guy that they based your Johnny Depp character off of, just so you know who this guy actually is. He has his own ship and wants to be part of it. You can't put a girl on a pirate crew. Does anybody know why?
Bad luck.
Thank you. I get a lot of different answers to that question. So he makes a deal with her. If you dress like a guy and look like the crew, you can be part of it, but you're going to be a female in my quarters. She's okay with this because Dad used to cross-dress her as a boy back home in Ireland as a boy apprentice to hide her away from his wife. So she gets it. Now she's on the crew. But let's put two and two together. She's a female in his quarters. She's eventually going to get pregnant. You can't have a pregnant pirate dude on the crew. Somebody's going to figure out that she's a girl. So he drops her off in Cuba. Go have the baby, come back, figure it out later. She goes and has the baby, returns with no baby. We have no idea what happened to the child. None of my research can find it. However, she comes back dressed as a girl. This makes Jack angry because now everybody's going to know he let a girl on his ship. While she was away giving birth, he captured another pirate crew. They're down below deck. She's going to go flirting because that's who Anne is. We're on guy number 3, in case you lost track. Guy number 3 turns out to be a female, dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack captured. Her name is Mary Reed. She went by Mark Reed to become a pirate. Her and Mary became friends, possibly lovers. We're not going to really know for sure, but the British find out where they are. They send a fleet of ships to come take down one pirate ship. Anne and Mary are rumored to be the only 2 pirates to come up and fight because the other ones were too drunk to come up. And they only had 1 bullet flintlocks because they didn't know how to use the cannons yet. So obviously 2 ladies are not going to take on a whole bunch of other ships. They get arrested. As they're being arrested, she looks at Jack, who's also being arrested, and says, "You should have fought like a man instead of being hanged like a dog." So the word dog shows up on our spirit boxes a lot. We've even heard barking as we enter the lot. That's the weird thing. So the judge wants to see the 2 quote-unquote men that fought back by themselves. Anne and Mary step forward, reveal their gender, hoping to save themselves, and he doesn't care that they're girls. They're still pirates. He's still going to hang them. We plead our bellies, which means they are claiming to be pregnant, and you can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he sends them both back to jail, delays the hanging. Dad is still up here in South Carolina with all of his Irish money. He bails out Anne, brings her home. She remarries. That's husband number 2, but guy number 4, because we're going to count Mary. We don't really know. She has 4 kids, dies at the age of 84. Yes, very abrupt. We don't know much about her life after her pirate career, which was very short. Mary dies a year later in that Jamaican jail from whatever pirates died from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. I'm sure it was nasty and gross. Most books will tell you that it was fever. I'm going to say it's pirates. Let's make it romantic. Let's call it scurvy. So, a couple of questions we can ask in this location. Well, I guess first off, we're going to start off with yours. You're going to be using the motion sensor, but you're going to ask Anne what her hair color is. And hopefully she's going to show you. Her hair color is red. The only way for her to get you red is to touch that antenna. We have had the red come up on command several times in this location. So hopefully you're going to find it. Any EMF as you get on that half of the space is going to be because of the parking meters and the electrical poles in the corners. So in between like a 5 to a 7, don't get excited. If you go way above that, I'll be excited. Nice. Yeah, definitely reset every time that thing's going off. I'm wondering if you got something because you keep getting those strong green colors. For you, Jacob, I left out 2 things. Everything else is fair game. You can ask whatever the hell you want to. But I did leave out the names of her parents, that's the father and the mistress, and I left out the name of Jack's ship. So I left those out on purpose so you at least have something. Everything else is fair game. Just try to stay away from yes/no questions. So, Stickman, figures, like nice slow motions over here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be super curious because I will tell you when psychics come on this tour, they always, a good psychic will see a soldier and they like describe him the exact same way, standing near the powder magazine. And they say it's blue pants, white shirt. They all say it.
Okay.
So they always say that that soldier is not happy that I keep bringing people here, but I don't care because we get evidence. So just nice slow movements over there if you can so I can review some footage. So I'm just giving you a little bit of a direction. We've tried things with the thermal. We haven't really gotten much. So let's see if we can get something out of that camera. London, you got the gist of yours. You know what you're doing. So let's spread out. We're going to know within like 5 minutes if we have something based on what Jacob's hearing. So if we're going to start getting things, and I had to check my word list, but let's see if we can capture it.
I heard bound your soul or something like that.
So this is
Bound
like
your
a pirate would say.
Jihad
What did he say? What did he say?
Something about soul.
Bound your soul
No, where did he say?
to go
Yeah, where they saw the pirate guy. I mean, soldier guy.
by those what looks like houses.
Okay.
That's like pretty profound right there. Like that's deep.
Man, I think we got some real holes too.
What radio station is he in? Is it your band?
If there is a soldier over here, what is your name? I would like to know your name. Was that you? Probably not. I think that was just a little thingamabob. That's my shadow. I was gonna say, why are you so short? Just because I'm short. No. Just London.
Well, her skeleton looks good.
Mhm.
It's not as congested as it was with the other ones.
Yeah. Nothing else though. Just like off the plants and all, but it's just 'cause the plants.
So take like walk towards London, like
Okay.
almost like baby steps. I want to see how long it's going to take till she shows up, just so I can get a distance on it. Perfect. Okay, so I would say we're probably 50 to 60 feet away.
Yeah.
I can start to see her.
Let's see if I can see Dad. I see Dad.
Well, he's in some light.
Yeah,
London
true.
was in the dark, so that's why I wanted to go towards her.
Yeah, she's there.
Barely, but yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
It's good. London, you got anything?
Is there a soldier over here? So, what is your name? Gotta be slower. my shadow. No, it's just a sign. Oh, well, that's Mom. No. Yeah, it's just a sign.
Trash can.
Sign. Yeah. What is that? Hello? Where's Dad? Is there someone next to the tree? Slow and steady wins the race. There's Dad, Mom, Jacob. I hear you eventually. Hello?
So let's bring it in. Again, this is a spot where we never know.
That didn't seem up here.
It's my shadow.
It's been a few weeks since I've seen him.
Found your soul.
Found your soul. So the interesting thing, the first thing that caught my mind with the numbers was the number 700. So 7 always shows up around this area for one of 3 reasons. So first off, Dr. Ladd that we talked about at the alley, birthday of July 7th, 7/7. So it normally shows up in doubles. We have John Calhoun that's buried on the other side of that wall. That's your 7th vice president. So there's the second reason. The Powder Magazine has served 7 different wars and 1 rebellion. So again, number 7 shows up here a lot. You did get the number 700, but you also have to say the word 7 to get 700. So again, it's kind of a stretch. You also think you heard the name Jack, so I'm excited about that. Since we've been here, I do have the word Europe. That's obviously part of.
I think I may have heard the word Europe.
Interesting, because again, this is doing the exact same thing you're doing, just in digital format. And I have seen where terms have matched up before. But I also have the word aborted grayed out. So again, that could be a number of things.
But the kid didn't show up.
Right, we could have a baby that we don't know about, or it could be aborted Europe, based on the language back then, just means we left Europe. So again, could be a bunch of different things. I don't have really anything else on the word list. Oh, I got the word workers. That's all of us. So, sorry, gotta make fun at times to kind of see what's going on. So let's kind of go over the answers. We didn't get any numbers or any readings that came out of yours. The funny thing is we got that red for the first time by mistake. I was showing somebody with the spirit box that was struggling with it. I was like, let's just go with a simple question. And tell us what color your hair was. And we had an immediate red. I'm like, are you kidding me? So we changed the space. I was like, maybe it's just the area. We had a quick anomaly. No, it was on command every single time. Like, wait a few minutes, do it again, on command. It was that whole time we were here. So let's talk about the answers to the very quick questions that I gave you. Anne Bonnie, this is one of the few pictures you can find of her with a shirt on. That's the funny thing. Yes, because I get teenage boys on this tour, and I don't need an angry mom leaving. So again, the reason why is because she used to bare her breast to show men that they were just killed by a woman. Like, I told you she was a badass, right? So the name of her parents, William Cormack, Mary Brennan. There's not another word trick because we have Mary Reed from the ship. It just so happens they both have the same first name. Now, the interesting thing about William and Mary is that they normally show up in the same snippet on the Spirit Box recordings. So I normally get the one person with a spirit box that comes to me and says, "Were the names William and Mary?" I'm like, "Yeah, as a matter of fact." They're like, "I just heard the phrase William and Mary." So it's very interesting how that turns out. Calico Jack, everybody wants to see what they base Johnny Depp off of. So if my tablet wants to cooperate with me tonight, what did you do to this thing, London?
I didn't do it, and Bonnie did it.
Like, it is, you guys see it's not scrolling at all. There we go, baby. We're gonna start over.
Your thingy just hates you.
Let's go with that. It's not an Apple. Should
Yeah.
be working just fine. Oh my goodness. Go this way. Nope. Color one. Calico Jack. It was named that because of the jackets that he wore. So his crew started calling him Calico Jack because the jackets came from British captains that he killed. His father was a tailor, so textiles were very important to him. Calico Jack translates to fancy jacket. It's basically where it comes from. The name of the ship was called the Kingston. I don't expect the word Kingston to come out of a spirit box with our radio stations, so the word King would suffice on either one of our war generating boxes at this point. We have to kind of mix technology with what we actually can work with. Part of the reason why I also give that heated warning, you guys will find this interesting, is this space. A year ago this past September, I brought my group of 8 to 10 people to the back like I always do to stay out of everybody's way. The kid next to me, I say kid because he was probably like 21, 22, started to like drop like a wet noodle. Like I have to pick him up by his armpit so he doesn't hit his head on the ground. It's September, which means it feels like this. So it's not hot or cold. His boyfriend picked him up from the other side of him. We brought him over to this wall, got him a bottle of water, starts feeling better. I then told them the story that I told you about Ian. So they don't know anything yet. This used to be my last stop. So it was like, all right, everybody spread out. We're gonna stay here until your time's up, kind of thing. So they all started spreading out, but them two sat there and pulled me aside and said, Nick, we have to tell you, we are 2 transgender males, 2 females dressed like males on the tour, just like Anne and Mary in the story. And it made sense as to why one of them about passed out the minute we entered the space. So again, this is the weird shit I can't explain. Psychics and mediums normally don't make it past the Pinkley Mansion site. They're telling me as they're on the gurney to go to the emergency room, like they pass out all the time there. So again, that's why I give the heated warning, to just be cognizant of how you're feeling throughout the entire time we're together. We have one more spot to go to, so that is like 2 blocks away. It's a brand new space, only been going there since November, so it's not a big lengthy story. So it's just a matter of like, there's a bunch of monuments in there, but we're gonna focus on one guy to see what we can get out of it. It is a space where we've had several times EMF, well over 100, so it can be very active. So with yours, Madeline, I want you to be very aware of all of the trees in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them. We're going to a park. And then of course, you're still the star. You're actually getting better. It's just a matter of we want really specific details. And that's why we record everything, because you've never done this. I'm going to spot check it. Somebody who does this
I'm
every
sure you're
single
gonna
morning.
find a lot.
Yeah.
Compared to what I've
He's
heard.
worried that, he's missing stuff.
What I'm going to tell you about this recording is because you're going to use your own earbuds when you're listening to it on your own. But when I'm going through it, for every 5 minutes of recording, whether it be on a video or the spirit box, I only listen or watch for 1 minute. Whatever I find is what I find. If it's a weird phrase, I write it down and type it into your notes. It's just, again, I'm going to miss stuff too because I'm literally skipping ahead. I'm only listening to it because when you're going to record 2 hours worth, which means I'm going to listen to it for about 25 to 30 minutes because that's about the time frame that it takes me to get it all together. But don't worry, you're going to have the full recording to do it all over again. So that's the fun part. Any other questions about pirates in Charleston? Because that could probably answer most of which kind of questions you have. A lot of Blackbeard stories here, lots of things around this location even. Like we have a pirate house on the other side of that cemetery. Like that's where Blackbeard's men used to go to have a few drinks and have a place to stay.
Don't go in the backyard.
Don't go in the backyard. Somebody lives there, he gets pissed off.
Oh.
Yeah. Don't ask me why I piss off all the neighbors. I'm always ghost hunting out here.
People that live in Goonies house.
And we had the exact year of the birth of the man on that bust. We also had his name. His name was Henry Timrod. Wow, is it that? Henry Timrod. So the name Henry showed up and the name Tim showed up. And we had 1828 confirmed from a spirit box. That's his birth year. I was like, oh shit, I know I've heard the story, but now I gotta do some research. So here's basically how this goes, very short. The man was sick through most of his life. Obviously born in 1828, he was alive long enough to be part of the Civil War. But when he actually wanted to fight for the Confederacy, he goes out to battle. His friends realize he's too sick to fight. So he realizes the camera's on the wrong side, by the way. So if you were recording, stop it and restart. Your video's gonna be upside down for about 3.5 minutes.
That was the whole video.
YouTube doesn't like the flips. So, but at any rate, Friends sent him home realizing he's a writer and a poet. And they say, go be the voice of the war. Go tell everybody what's going on out there. So he did. He came home, started writing poetry about what was going on the battlefield. A few years after that, he has a son. That's a big part of his life, but the man is still sick. So you're going to find out, hopefully, what the son's name is, his birthday, and how old he was when he passed away. He died away pretty quickly. I'm not going to tell you exactly how long, but hopefully you're going to find out. Years after that, his college friend calls him up and says, I know you've been going through mourning with your son. Why don't you come out to my cottage in Colombia, and you can finish working on your piece out here, and then come back. Get away from the wife a little bit, give her some time. So he takes him up on the offer. That's where he writes his last words. His last words were, beholder of brief mortality, which translates to person of short life. And then the man coughed, and it landed on the page in a blood stain. He had tuberculosis. We were just talking about the TB hospital, right? So the blood stain actually looks like a man writing. The whole collection from this guy's poetry. Wow, I am so pissed off it's this loud over here. Normally it's nice and quiet and creepy for us. And now we got all the but at any rate, so this collection is actually held at the Charleston Library Society, and they only show it one day a year. The reason why, it's called the Blood Book. So they only show it on Halloween. That's the irony of everything. So we've had the word blood and book show up, and now we got a super loud right outside of the indoors. So this is a pretty shy guy. So hopefully it's not going to take us long to get some kind of interaction with him. But this is the blood stain that he coughed up. You can see
how
where it looks
spooky
like a man
looking.
writing. So, but again, this is the page that they display on Halloween, and only members of the society can go and visit it. But the internet is beautiful, which is how I'm able to show you guys every single night. So, I will tell you, in little grassy knolls around this area is where we've been getting readings of well over 100. So I will tell you that the REM that you're pushing in now probably might bounce around a little bit. I'll be more interested when you get all of those crazy readings. Why we have the SLS camera that you have right now is because somebody brought one on my tour, the big ones you guys see on TV, on the tour, and we didn't have any interaction until we got here. I'm going to be honest, this is going to disrupt what we're doing. I will be super surprised if we get anything coming out of what your spirit box is doing right now.
Yeah.
Because again, this is a shy, introverted man, so he doesn't like a lot of noise. But at any rate, we had a full 8-minute interaction. Remember those numbers. Right at the bust from that man's SLS camera. When I say interaction, it was a, hey Henry, is it okay if I read some of your poetry? Raise your right hand. It raised its right hand and then dropped it. The irony of what happened to this is that after that 8 minutes was over, a woman went over to the side where the figure was standing in the camera, and she outstretched her hand to be shaken. She said, Henry, can you shake my hand? And he disappeared, and we never got him back. The reason I'm guessing is because he was alive during the 1800s, and it's probably disrespectful for a woman to ask her hand to be shook that way. So again, very odd space. We're gonna spread out. Hopefully, we do get things from other monuments in here, but definitely focus on Henry. Let's see if we can get something. Have you heard something? It's like you look like you gotta tell me something.
Yeah, when I was walking over, it might be a stretch, but I could have heard blue and indigo. I'm not sure if that's relevant.
On the way over here, indigo is probably not something you may have heard on the radio. I'm gonna write it down just in case I do find it, just to remember.
I'm pretty sure I heard.
Maggie, any numbers out of yours over here?
Hello.
I was just talking about going. I'll take your belt.
That woman was actually talking about
Yep.
nice slow on this, especially in here because of the trees.
Mm-hmm.
So again, when I find something, I'm like, what is that? Then I take a screenshot,
Yeah.
And then I lighten it up to see if it's London standing behind it.
Yeah.
It's always me. I'm always the ghost.
When did you die?
Hello? Are you standing next to this big statue?
What do you think? You got anything coming up on there?
No, I
Well,
just.
once that group leaves, I definitely
Yeah.
want to see if we can get some footage. And one of us will walk with you
Yeah.
around there. She's only going to be there a few minutes. She gets really loud. When she stops talking, we'll go over.
Yeah.
Self-made. Bought one front load. 5 years on a fleet of 20 front loads. First generation John Cooper. Integrated English, spoke good enough. Baby Beaver's like nice house. Beautiful German wife.
All right, I think now's our chance.
Yeah.
Let's go for it. See what we can do.
No.
Maybe.
Maybe they're not stopping.
This thing hasn't changed much at all. Any other Good night, Jill.
Thank you for filming that.
She's over there.
Why not?
Oh. It's gone. There was something.
So when we had the figure, he was tall, like almost.
Yeah, he was like, it was like up to like the chest of the bus.
But the gentleman using
No,
the
that's
camera
just like-
was using on the other side, and we had him right here. So it wasn't picking up the actual monument; it was literally standing.
I think this is like picking up the actual monument. Like, it have
It'll
like,
pick up the framework of the monument.
yeah,
itself.
yeah. Picking up the
Be
frame.
mindful of the things around you when you look at the shapes.
Yeah. Just Jacob.
Come on, Henry. I know there's a lot of people in here. Help us out, buddy. I'm still on the same damn word.
I am.
You got anything
I
coming
think
through?
I heard incredible tragedy, and I heard the name Wilson.
Job, Dad. Trying to catch someone. Trying to see this famous poet because he's so cool. See if you come out. Whoa!
What's up?
I think that might just be, I don't know.
That looks like the framework of the thing around it.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
It looks like it's the
Just like the actual monument. Hello, Henry? Can I say hi? Can I have the pleasure of talking to you or looking at you? That's just your monument right there. Oh, is that you? Cute. Hi. Can you show yourself again if that was you? Oh? Hi. It's a pleasure seeing and talking to you. Can you wave at me if that is you? Like raise your right hand if you come back. Sorry if I like scared you off or something. I'm kind of scary like that. Can you raise your right hand? No. Okay. Ooh. Person. There's Jacob. Monument. Okay, it's Jacob, it's Dad. I noticed a lot of people crowding around here, but yeah.
So, quick answers. What we are looking for with the son, Willie, born on Christmas Eve, died at Christmas.
Wilson, Willie. I heard Will. Like over Will.
Yeah, it was named after the grandfather.
I heard it.
But it was Willie. We've had Willie, believe it or not, show up on staircase. I don't have anything on where list where I'm like, ooh, check this out. And again, like you said, we got 1 million people in here tonight.
quiet, yeah, it's
So, and then we had that loud. I was like, man, this is really gonna alter what we're getting. So I'm definitely gonna be watching the video. You know, the SLS is probably my biggest focus right now. I still go through everything, you know, like I normally do, but I spend a little bit more time always on the newest device, so that way I can continue to learn about it. I do a lot of screenshotting and that kind of thing.
Yeah, you can spend some time on it. I didn't see anything that was kind
Well,
of
that Philly,
ordinary, out of
you gave me a
ordinary,
marker, which is, that happens probably once a month. So when somebody gives me, like, I think I saw something in
Yeah.
this location, that's where I make my note and I watch the whole duration.
legitimately saw something on that one. which
Nice.
is pretty cool.
Well, when I get the footage,
Yeah.
we'll snip it out, and if it's legit,
That would be neat.
hopefully we have a temperature to go with it. Still, 31 and 37, 39 are nothing to sneeze at. Like, these are high EMF. And again, if you were to put that device behind your TV, it's going to read about 40 to 60. So you had that where there's no electricity besides the lamp posts. Your microwave runs on 150 to 170 when it's on. So the highest I've ever seen that thing go is at the Pinckney Mansion. So the first lot we went to, 214. We left. Like, we were out. Again, guy with seizures, I don't play with that much electricity and a neurological disorder. Like, that's too much. No. But I think you guys did okay for the first time doing this. This was actually pretty light. Not a whole lot of terms coming out of one spirit box, so we're definitely going to focus on, you know, what I can find out of it in a spot check. But I also rate all of the investigations, so that way I can kind of see, like, was the moon phase part of it? Was it the combination of the devices? You know, those kind of things. So you're going to see scores on there as well. I told you I keep everything up there for a year. Luckily for you, we're towards the end of the month. It's going to be towards the top of February because the newest tour always goes on the top. Every investigation analysis is about 5 to 9 pages. So again, just remember, try to get to it in the next couple of days. You can download it all.
Yeah,
I also
we will.
created a field guide to help you if you didn't have the thermal. It shows you how to go through it with examples of paranormal activity. So that way it's not just all right, look for the cold spots.
Yeah.
Same thing on the spirit box. It kind of shows you how to go through every single piece of equipment that I have, except for the new pieces that Madeline and London are using tonight. So I got to add that in for our next one, so that way everybody knows what to look for. Trying to think what else. Everybody asks me about my investigations. Those are at the top of your data page. They're in a podcast and a blog all over the website. The website is giant, so you're going to have a lot to sift through. You guys seem like you're big fans.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot going on. My business card is now digital, so just tap the phone to the back, or tap this card to the back of your phone, and it'll automatically put my info in your phone. So if you guys find something in there, just in your data, just text, email me. I'm, like I said, pretty quick with it. So I'm going to start collecting devices, and then I will pass the